Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are new to this channel, this is part 2 of a larger spread that I have done for this week. So, if you have not seen part 1 yet, I'm going to put a card up here so that you can jump over and watch part 1 and then come back and watch part 2, because part 2 without part 1 is not going to make much sense. So I highly recommend that you go take a look at that and then come back and watch this video. So friends, what we're going to do now is we're going to hop right back into the spread. Here we go. You just saw the astral triangle, and you saw in Netzach we had the 6 of Swords, and in Hod we had the 10 of Swords, a lot of swords, right? And then in Yesod we had the 9 of Wands. So for our victory we have the 6 of Swords. For our splendor, glory, or surrender, we had the 10 of Swords, and then in our foundation, our base from which finally our manifestation will flow, we had the 9 of Wands. And then in Malkut at the bottom, we had the 7th house of the zodiac for our manifestation. That's where we're going to land in physical. But let's start with the 6 of Swords. Yeah, 6 of Swords, you can see here we've got, very interestingly, we've got a boat in this deck. Now, when we think of the 6 of Swords in Pamela Coleman Smith's art, we've got the ferryman, right? With the 2 figures sitting in front of the boat and the 6 swords in the back of the boat. And we're moving from the rough waters into smoother waters, moving on, right? But I'm reading this 6 of Swords, even though there is a little boat there for moving on. I'm going to read this 6 of Swords as we would read the 6 of Swords in other Egyptian decks, particularly the one from the Brotherhood of Light, because that is my intent for this deck. Now, there aren't really there are no zodiacal indications here. There's no other indication here, so I'm going to read the swords as Earth in this deck as well. So we've got a lot of Earth in this spread today. We had the, what did we have? We had the 8 of Discs was Earth, right? And then we've got 2 more Earth cards here, the 6 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. The 6 of Swords, you don't see it on the card, but the 6 of Swords points to the Capricorn decanate of Taurus and its sub-ruler Saturn, from which the cardinal aspects of fixed Earth's vital attributes enter our world. The cardinal aspects of fixed Earth. Yeah? Cardinal, Capricorn, fixed Taurus, entering our zodiac, entering the question that we are asking of the Tarot. Also, we've got the exaltation here, because when I shuffle this deck and I shuffle the Egyptian Tarot, I'm not shuffling in reversals. I do shuffle reversals into the Tarot of the Holy Light, which was the first deck that you saw with the supernal triangle. But here, we've still got an upright card, we've still got an exaltation of Venus in Pisces. So what does that mean? What is this telling us? Yeah, well, there are ideas of dissipation, news bringing temptation, delays affecting, delays in matters of the heart. I don't think that means much in this spread, really. But there are ideas of mastership. Now, mastership, but also budgeting our energies. Now, slow and steady wins the race. Which is interesting because we got that idea of moderation in the 6 of Wands in the previous triangle, in the astral triangle, right? So here we got that emphasized a little bit more. Our victory is going to be, it's not a quick overcoming of enemies. It's slow and steady, budgeting our energies, taking time to act and to not to react, but to act and to pull back and take care of self, take care of business, take care of self. which is moving through this entire spread, right? But still, our applied energy can lead to progress. The energy that we apply will move us forward, but we want to do it slowly, steadily. Yeah? Like a Capricorn likes to move up the mountain. Yeah? Conviction avoids disorganization. We want to be focused. Remember that potential for disorganization in the heart with Gemini? This is reminding us we want to stay focused, to avoid disorganization, because organizing our work is going to bring us success. Organizing our tasks, organizing what we're going to do is going to help us live our intentional lives. Because when we're bouncing off the walls, well this, well that, I don't know, where's that, where's this, the boats that we ride on the powerful current of intention start to rock, and we start to take on water, and we lose speed. Now, this card isn't saying speed. This card is saying slow and steady, but slow, steady, and focus will move us forward into the direction of the things that we have placed on our current of intention that have manifested vibrationally and will move in the direction of our experience as we move forward to them with the flow of the current of intention. This card is also reminding us that our talents can help others, that we have the talent to do stuff. And also we have that artistic talent that we were talking about, again, in the Six of Wands, which was in Gebera, right? Our severity, Six of Wands. But we have Venus in Pisces. And Venus in Pisces also gives us that desire to merge with love, with other. But our judgment might be a little bit foggy. Yeah, we might be a little bit idealistic. Though we can express our feelings freely, our judgment with Venus in Pisces might be a little bit cloudy. So we want to be careful about our clarity, right? Conviction. Where have we decided we want to go with our powerful flow of intention? We want to return to that here in our area of victory. So in our area of surrender, we have the Ten of Swords, or the Ten of Earth, which is, as you can see, a beautiful card with the Eye of Horus. These cards are different sizes. Here, let me hold it up like this. Taurus. Well, yeah, we have the Eye of Horus with the card being Taurus, because the Ten of Swords in this deck, which was in Yesod last week, by the way, this card showed up last week in Yesod, which is the next spot. So it moved from place 9 up to place 8 in this week, which is our splendor, glory, surrender. Points to Taurus, which is the domicile of Venus. We had just Venus in Pisces a moment ago, from which the fixed Earth's vital attributes enter our world. Venus in Taurus. Now, in guidebooks, we got things like sudden loss of employment. I don't think that has anything to do with this spread. Information revealed leading to practical changes. We might get some interesting information which might lead to real changes in our world. That might be possible. Potential for hypersensitivity, which we want to keep an eye on. We don't want to become hypersensitive. We want to be sensitive, sure, but hypersensitivity would not be beneficial for us now. But this card also reminds us of perhaps static conditions in our personal affairs. Yeah, Taurus doesn't like to move too quickly. Taurus likes to stay where they are and enjoy what is around them, right? Agitation could upset our balance. Taurus doesn't like to be pushed around. A series of gains and losses are possible here. And so I think the main point here from this card is that our faith, remember, it's slow and steady, our faith helps in times of discouragement. We might experience some discouragement on this side of severity. we might experience things where we feel a little bit nudged a little bit and we get a little disgruntled and we start feeling discouraged. And so we want to move back into our heart, to our hearts, into that king of discs and regain our faith in our potential and regain our focus. Don't abandon things. Keep trying. Endeavors lead to reform. Now, we want to break our stubborn habits that are potentials, as Taurans can be very stubborn. We want to move past that stubbornness. That is potential. And if we can do that, we're going to move right into the Nine of Wands, which is our foundation. This is the foundation. We move from Kether with the Two of Wands down into our foundation, which is the Nine of Wands. And this interesting card, we've got a scarab here in the center, and we've got 9 Egyptian-looking wands there, all arranged interestingly and intricately. But this Nine of Wands points to the Leo decadent of Sagittarius. Now, we started off with the Leo decadent of Aries in the first card. Here we have the Leo decadent of Sagittarius. And its subruler, the Sun, from which the fixed aspect of mutable fire's vital attributes enter our world. So in a lot of key places, we've got Leo, Aries, the Sun. We've also got a good balance of Venus and Mars in this whole spread actually has a lot of balance. Now we've got air here, we got earth, we got fire, we got water. The one thing that we're really missing in this spread, I don't know if it struck you yet, is major arcana. So here we really seem to be looking at the practical day-to-day nature of life as we consider how we can live more intentionally. And the Nine of Wands at our foundation here, which is also the exaltation of Jupiter in Cancer. Remember, we had Cancer in the Queen of Cups. Here Jupiter is expanding that Queen of Cups as well. So we've got the Nine of Wands bringing down that Two of Wands fire into our foundation. And we've got the exaltation of Jupiter in Cancer giving more expansion to the Queen of Cups as the exaltation of Jupiter in Cancer. And again, the Nine of Wands points to the Leo decadent of Sagittarius and its sub-ruler, the Sun, from which we remember, and the whole spread started off with the Sun, yeah, from which the fixed aspect of mutable fire's vital attributes enter our world. So the Sun is also very important in this spread. So happiness from interaction with children, maybe. Success in entertainment business, that would be fine, but I don't think that would really apply to all of us. Wise and profitable friendships. Here we have the relationship coming back again. Yeah? Our relationships are going to benefit us. Knowledge of human nature leads to popularity, leads to more diverse interactions. Illumination. It's cold in here. I had to turn off the heater because if the heater was on, everything would be flying around in front of my face. So we don't want that to happen. So I turned off the heater and it's cold in here. Just saying. So illumination, reliable intuition. We got intuition again in this card, which we had in the King of Discs, right? So our intuition flow, okay, now, which is also interesting. Yeah, that central pillar, we started off with the Two of Wands in the central pillar with that fire echoing here. Then we went into the heart, which is 6, right? The heart giving us our intuition. And then we move right here with both of those together. We got the fire of the wands, we got intuition coming up here. We've got discretion. We can discern well in this card. Friends can influence what we do and also cause what we do to be more successful. And yet our success is going to depend on both prudence and perseverance, which is a message that flowed from other cards in this reading today, right? Yeah, just a little bit ago, 7 of Swords, the 6 of Swords was telling us slow and steady, perseverance. We got to That echoed here in 9. Original methods and ideas in the work that we're doing is going to be helpful. But also Jupiter in Cancer here, the wisdom of mutual nourishing, the farmer and the land, the mother and the child. Yeah, us and other. We mutually nourish each other. And so we've got that two-ness of both the Two of Wands and the Queen of Cups. I nourish you, you nourish me, I nourish me, you nourish you. All of that together. Here in this card as well, with Jupiter being in Cancer. It's also reminding us that to stay centered and to grow slowly with generosity. That is where we are going to find our foundation, our base in this spread. Our pre-manifestation base, foundation, which flowed again from that Two of Wands. So we move from this into the actual manifestation with Malkuth. And the Malkuth card was another zodiacal house, right? This is the 7th house, which is the house of Libra, with Venus in Libra. Recall in the space for Chesed, we had the Isis Unveiled card, which is Venus in Libra. We got that echoed here as well. Yeah, the sense of success in creative pursuits, mind over matter, union of minds, union, growth, social activity. And here in the 7th house, we get that even more. We might want to evaluate our behaviors and the desires in relationships here. We might want to be clear about what the relationships we're engaging in are. We might want to decide that some of those relationships, it's time to let them go. But this isn't the cut them out of your life card. This is the reevaluate, because other relationships we may realize have grown into something else. What was originally just a friend, that friend may may have become over time more intimate. We might start feeling romantic feelings for someone who we had not felt so romantic about in the past, right? Relationships change. Someone who was just someone we passed on the street could suddenly become very intriguing to us, for example. This is also reminding us to not to hold on to people we've outgrown, but also allow the people with whom we are relating, allow those relationships to grow to recognize the growth that is happening. That's what I'm trying to say. And it might be time to expand our social circles, to start meeting more people as we let some of the people go. Yeah? Maybe, the book says clubs. If you're a club going to club. Oh, okay, so just a moment. My mind went somewhere else. Clubs, yes. Going to a nightclub, sure, maybe, if that's your jam. But also other clubs, like chess clubs, or tennis clubs, or knitting clubs, right? There are other kinds of clubs than just nightclubs. Also teams, joining a team. Sports, or other kinds of teams as well. Yeah, teams volunteer for people. Joining teams can also be of benefit for us. Also, meeting new people will benefit us as well. As we let some of the outlasted relationships go into the past rather than clinging on, we might want to go out and experience other people as well. And that is what brings. And interesting, finding new people to co-create with was part of last week's spread. If you saw that one. If you saw last week's, the first Tree of Life spread, we got that in that spread as well. And here we get it again in manifestation. So another recommendation to, as we live our intentional lives, to go out there and meet people. Let some people go. Recognize when the people who are in our lives, those relationships have started to change into something else. And also be open to meeting other people, and be deliberate in placing ourselves into arenas that would allow us to meet other people. We don't just want to expect other people to show up at our door, although they may, if we're radiating enough joy and light, they may just come to our door and say, hi, let's be friends. But putting ourselves out there into spaces where those opportunities are potential is part of living an intentional life. Yeah, an intentional life is not the life of a what do they call it? A couch, an armchair astronaut. That's what they call it. Yeah, an armchair astronaut. Somebody who just sits and imagines and does not act. We didn't come into these beautiful bodies of ours to not act if we have the potential to act. And our potential for acting is all relative. Your potential for acting is going to be different from my potential for acting. It's going to be different from another person's potential for acting. But whatever that potential is, we can fulfill that as part of living our beautifully intentional lives. Does that make sense? So friends, we just did the 3 triangles. I'm going to show you the large spread once more, and we're going to read the spread 2 different ways, fairly quickly. We're going to look at the mother pillar coming down, we're going to look at the father pillar going up, and then we're going to look at the lightning path going down from Kether all the way down to Malkuth. Let's take a look. Here we go. You just saw that full spread again. And I'm sorry. This is a horizontal spread a vertical spread on a horizontal screen, and it just doesn't fit. But what we're going to do is we're going to read the mother pillar first, then the father pillar, and then the lightning path. And again, remember the first card in Kether, we had that 2 of Wands card, right? With the 2 different kinds of light. The harsh fire going down to the mother pillar, which is just so appropriate. And then the softer light going to the father pillar, which is remarkably appropriate. And it just makes me love this spread so much. So we're going to start with the mother pillar, starting with the 8 of discs in Binah, to the 6 of wands in Geberath, to the 10 of swords in Hod. So we had the Taurus decadent of Virgo at the top. In the middle, we had the Aries decadent of Leo. And at the bottom, we just had Taurus again. So earth, fire, earth. Interesting. So we start in that order. Yeah. The 8 of discs, we want to be sure that we take time for ourselves. In this pillar of severity, we're reminded to take time away from having to be the master, having to be in charge, having to do all the things, yeah? Virgo wants to get everything done. And then Taurus is saying, but let's go at a pace. Let's go at our own pace. We don't have to be in charge of everybody, right? So we start off with that. We want to be sure that we recognize our selfhood and that we don't lose ourselves in our work, and that we take time for ourselves, and that we don't have to be in charge, and that we can receive help. And then we move into the 6 of wands, which is telling us that do things in moderation. Balance pleasure and practicality, and do a little bit of self-care and do the work, right? Allow ourselves to interact with others, and allow that interaction to benefit the work that we're doing. And recognize that we do have authority, we do have power, we can be eager and take lead roles, but when we take those roles, we want to do it in moderation and not lose ourselves to the work, right? And then we move into the 10 of swords, which is telling us that yes, there will be times when we feel rocky, when we feel we want to surrender. I mean, this is also the Sephiroth of surrendering, right? As well as splendor and glory. We might feel like things aren't progressing as quickly as we would hope they would go. And so we want to keep our faith in ourselves, in our heart. Now with that, the King of Discs. Keep our faith in ourselves, Recognize that we might get knocked around a little bit, but try to keep our faith and let that faith move us past any discouragement we might temporarily be feeling, right? We want to be sure that we're not being hypersensitive too. What might be just a little tap on the shoulder, we might be, oh, what is that? You're hitting me, Now that's that hypersensitivity of somebody accidentally just slightly bumping into us, we might overreact and feel like we're completely knocked off center, right? So that's that side. It's that be careful, right? Be careful. We don't have to get so disruptive. And that probably that hypersensitivity, that feeling of disruptiveness, being disrupted, of discouraged, might come from not paying attention to those first two things, not paying attention to stepping back, reclaiming self from the work that we're doing, and not being moderate, not trying to take charge. And if we don't do all that, then we could land in this Ten of Swords, the darker side of the more disruptive side, not the darker side, the more disruptive, the more uncomfortable side of the Ten of Swords, rather than the brighter side where our faith will help us, where we don't have to abandon, but we can keep doing and have faith and knowledge that we are making progress, right? So we move into the Father pillar, which is us raising our hands and our hearts and our minds up to the divine for mercy. And so we read this pillar up. We read from the bottom up. And so we start in, where do we start? We start in Netzach with the Nine of Wands, and then we move to Chesed, which is Isis unveiled, and then we move right into Chokmah, which is the Queen of Cups, which we've been talking about a lot today. So we start again in the Nine of Wands, Leo in Sagittarius, and again we move into Venus in Libra, and then we move right into the Moon in Cancer. So we've got a little bit of fire to start off with, and then we move into air, and then we move it into water. Interesting. Yeah? Okay, so Nine of Wands, where do we start off with again? Happiness. We want to reach for our happiness. We want to reach for our feelings of connection and our feelings of enjoyment with our interaction with other people. We want to allow for our opening to our intuition and to enlightenment, to illumination rather than enlightenment, to awakening. Now, we're not going for the full awakening of enlightenment here so much, but awakening from the dream of Malkut, from the dream of that potential what we had with the Ten of Swords, of disappointment or disruption or hypersensitivity, awakening from that. And that recognizing that our success is going to depend on our prudence, on how we handle ourselves in the world. We can move from that into Isis Unveiled, which is the creativity. We realize our creative possibilities, our potentials, our success in creativity. Our minds are here able to work with matter and manifest. Our union, our ability to co-create with others on the spiritual, mental level is increased here as well. And social pursuits. Our interaction with other people is going to feed our ability to look up and reconnect with the divine as well. And as we do that, we move into the Queen of Cups and we recognize that, yes, we can and we do take care of others. We are with others. We are co-servants with each other. And yes, we also ask for our private time. We ask for our time of caring for self. We ask for time for you to care for you. We ask for time for me to care for me. And then we move back into relationship and caring for each other. Right? The fullness of our empathy asks for our recharging of our batteries by taking care of ourselves as well. However that manifests or however that is for us. And that's how we're going to live more intentional lives, right? So here we go into the lightning round. But when I say lightning round, we're going to go through the tree of life from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, from Kether to Chokmah to Binah, through Da'at, through Chesed, to Geborah, to Tipreth, to Netzach, to Hod, to Yesod, to Malkut. So we start off with, let me see if I can do this with cards. It might be a foolish attempt, but here we go. So we start off with, no, we don't start off with her, we start off with this one. So, yes, our experience of the world is this. It's two different kinds of light entering the world. And we have warmth on one hand, we have wrath on the other, and they're both creative, and they both lead down the path of our manifestation into this real world and into these real bodies, into our intentional lives. And so we move into this and we recognize that, yes, we want those two streams. And we want to also recognize that we take time for ourselves as we also take time for working with others, right? And this card here, we have the remembering of, we don't want to fall into the hubris of thinking that we have to take care of others, that we are the best, that we are the managers of others, we're the boss. We can receive help from others. We don't want to lose ourselves to the work that we're doing. This is the wisdom that we get. And then we move into Da'at, the void. And the void, which is our information, which is the knowledge that comes from the understanding we received from wisdom. And that's the fifth house. And this fifth house is telling us that we need to loosen up. The way to really move past these things is to loosen up. Find pleasurable activities that we can devote more time to. Be more productive. If we have more fun, we will be more productive. Joy, pleasure, fun, creativity, spontaneity, all of those wonderful leonine things. And there is a lot of the sun and Leo. The sun and Leo. We've got a lot of sun and Leo pouring through this spread. And this is in that space, in the void, the knowledge that is there for us to bring into the rest, into the manifesting world, into into the microprosopus, is that we need to loosen up, we need to have some fun. That's why we came into these stupid bodies, well, not into these beautiful bodies that we have, right? And so we move into Isis Unveiled. Where are you, baby? We move into Isis Unveiled. Yeah? Here we have, if we do that, we will have success in our creative pursuits. Our mind will be open to creating in the world. Yeah? Our social activity will feed our creativity. And so we move into the Six of Wands, which reminds us that, yes, in this harsh space, we want to be moderate. We want to be balanced. Balance what? Balance pleasure and practicality, work and play. But we got it, that knowledge that we carry into this is that the playing is so important and balance is important. We have the peak of our authority, but we do it softly. Because we move into the next thing, the heart, which is our understanding that we have the potential to be very intuitive, be very open to insights, and we're able to balance both intuition and reason. We can learn things, we can do more than one thing at one time. and we enjoy the knowledge that we get. But we want to evaluate the things that we have chosen to do and make sure that we haven't started getting fickle, started bouncing off of the mental walls of our minds and lost our focus. So we move from that into, what do we have? The Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is there in Netzach. And this is reminding us that from there, we move into, yes, we have mastership. Yes, we have that. And our conviction is going to avoid our disorganization, which was a potential in that Gemini card, the King of Discs. Our focus is called for here. And that we might start falling in love with people, and that's cool, but when we do, we might start losing our judgment a little bit, so we want to be aware of that. We want to be able to bring back our focus and not our focus, but bring back our focus, the gentle focus, our clarity. That's the word, clarity. And apply the energy that we have to move towards success as we maintain our soft progress. And then we move to the Ten of Swords, which told us what? Which told us that we can adapt to where we are. And yet, we might feel a little bit static. We might feel a little bit agitated, so we want to be careful of being hypersensitive to those things. Now, we don't want to abandon, but we want to keep trying. We want to keep moving forward. And so we have the potential for this, the Nine of Wands, which is our foundation. Happiness from the young people, yes, but success. Knowledge of human nature will lead us to better interactions with people around us. We have illumination. We have a reliable intuition. And we have the discretion to make choices. And we have the possibility to be fed by our relationships in the world, our friends. And yes, we can feed and be fed. We can nourish and be nourished. We can have an interactive, everything is co-creative. We are in a co-creative ecosystem of caring for and being cared, of mutual nourishing. And so that's why, because of that, we finally move into the seventh house, which is, take a look at who we're relating with. Are we relating? Are there people that we are spending energy on that it's time to let them go? Not cut them out, but to let them go. Stop spending so much energy. Now, sometimes when we stop spending energy on them, they start spending a little bit more energy on us, and then the relationship can evolve, or they might continue not spending, giving energy or attention to the relationship, and so then they just float into the imagined past. And also some relationships that we are engaged in now, we might notice that they're developing into something else. We also might want to bring ourselves out into spaces where we can discover more or different relationships, new relationships, and that will help feed us as well. So this is all about how we interact with other people, right? This whole spread. And how we take care of ourselves and we take care of others, and we allow people to move out of our lives, and we place ourselves to opportunities for meeting new people. What do you think about this spread? Isn't that interesting? I think this is truly fascinating. I hope you do too. I hope this makes sense for you. It's made sense for me, and I hope I've related some of that for you. If I have, let me know in the comments below. If I have not, let me know in the comments below. Tell me what was confusing. Tell me what might help you to understand this spread. I'm still learning how to communicate it for all of us. So let me know in the comments below. And do all the things, yeah? Hit the thumbs up button if you got something out of it. It helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm doing about 3 a week. It might be 4, we'll see. And yes, comment below. I would really love to hear from you. Oh, and if you're curious about these decks, as always, there will be a short clip in just a little moment that will give you the names of the decks and the names of the creators. And in the description box below, there will be links so you can go and look at the decks and perhaps purchase one or all of them. They're all available. I highly recommend them all. I particularly recommend the Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne-Towler. That is the deck that got me into this whole thing that I've been going into this year, the Continental Tarot. If you want a reading from me, my email is in the description box below. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. A big one, a small one, 3 cards, whatever you want. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you and hope to be fed as I have the opportunity to serve you mutually. Because that's reading for other people is also, it's a mutual exchange, I believe. So there we have it. There's the spread. And friends, if you're still here, and I'm sure you are, I'm very grateful. And as as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.